Good day, everyone. So, my task for today is to discuss to you the autobiography of Michael Halliday. Okay, so Halliday was born on April 1925 and died on April 18, 2018 in Sydney at the age of 93. His mother, Winifred, had studied French, and his father, Wilfred, was a dialectologist, a dialect poet, and also an English teacher with a love of grammar and Elizabeth drama. Halliday is an English-born linguist who developed the internationally influential systemic functional linguistic model of language. Right. So when we say systemic functional linguistics, it is the approach to linguistics among functional linguistics. Okay, so semiotic system is a theory of language structure, semantic structure, and discourse analysis, which is a microscopic research on linguistic science. And Halliday described language as a semiotic system, not in the sense of system of science, but a systemic resource for meaning. Alright, so Halliday defined linguistic as a study of how people exchange meaning by languaging. He also described himself as a generalist, meaning that he tried to look at the language from every possible vantage point. He described his work as a wander the highways and byways of language. In 1942, Halliday volunteered for a National Services foreign language training course and was selected to study Chinese on the strength of his success in being able to differentiate tones. In 18 months training, he spent a year in India working with the Chinese intelligence unit doing counterintelligence work. In 1945, he was brought back to London to teach Chinese. He took BA honors degree in modern Chinese language and literature. Then, he lived for 3 years in China, where he studied under Lo Changpi at Peking University and under Wang Li at Lingnan University before returning to take PhD in Chinese. Halliday changed his field of specialization to linguistic and developed systemic functional linguistics, including systemic functional grammar. Halliday's first academic position was an assistant lecturer in Chinese at Cambridge University from 1954 to 1958. And then from 1958, in 1958, he moved to Edinburgh, where he was lecturer in general linguistics until 1960, and reader from 1960 to 1963. And then from 1963 to 1965, he was a director of the Communication Research Centre at University College London. He was also a Linguistic Society of America professor at Indiana University. And then, from 1965 to 1971, he was a professor of linguistics at UCL. And in 1972 to 1973, he was a fellow of the Center for Advanced Study in the Behavioral Sciences in Stanford. In 1973 to 1974, a professor of linguistic at University of Illinois. In 1974, he briefly moved back to Britain to be professor of language and linguistics at Essex University. In 1976, he moved to Australia as Foundation Professor of Linguistics at the University of Sydney, where he remained until he retired in 1987. While at the University of Sydney, Halliday founded the Sydney School. in 1979 at the Working Conference on Language in Education. Halliday worked in multiple areas of linguistics, both theoretical and applied, and was especially concerned with applying and understanding of the basic principles of language to the theory and practices of education. In 1987, he was awarded of the status of Emeritus Professor of the University of Sydney at Macquarie University. He was an honorary doctorate from University of Birmingham in 1987, York University in 1988, the University of Athens in 1995, Macquarie University in 1996, Lingnan University in 1999, and Beijing Normal University in 2011. And that was Michael Halliday's autobiography. Thank you for watching and for listening.